Well, say that now's the perfect time to discuss the thing. See, so Lapadal will never be a headstone because his name is the wall. We would just have him cremated, mix his ashes with the bricks, and turn him into an actual wall
I'm
to
going full
continue to
Andor on
protect
this.
things.
Yeah, and there's gonna be like a statue of Lapadel, like
Yeah.
a
All
commemorative
right, that should be
wall.
fixed.
Oh no.
Only we killed
Okay,
Aurelia in
here
the
we go.
process.
Oh, there it goes.
Then, kaboom!
From one
And,
to another.
and they're falling one by one, all according to plan.
Crashing like dominoes.
Um, I'm
Spoiler:
sure.
this was a 5 mini episode campaign.
Yeah.
What?
I, I said there was, there was no determined amount of episode. Five is a number. It's not. It was not predetermined. Um, all right. I'm sure that she will be back in a moment. I don't see anything in our Discord showing a mention of technical issue, but it can happen. So there we go.
There
She's
we go.
back. Welcome back.
I have no idea why it keeps kicking me. I'm so sorry.
Hey, it's all right. It might just be cursed.
I've had that happen on the channel at the worst slash best possible time to a
I
point that
know it's
everybody
great.
was in peals of laughter for an hour.
Yeah. That or having I had my like stream just completely crash on my end at worst time as well. It's interesting. All right, where were we? Oh yeah, uh, announcement and shit. Um, the usual quick announcement. I should at some point just like do a quick recording of that and just put it to play. It would be smart, but you know, I never said I was smart. So, um, first and foremost, we are dice related with lovely folks at Die Hard Dice, home of the friendliest shopkeep in the realm. There you can find quality polymer, metal dice, and various accessories. You can do exclamation mark dice in the chat or DHD. Both work. It's going to bring you a few things. One is our dice collab that we did with them, which is still sold out. I'm not sure if it will ever come back in stock. Hopefully one day, but we're going to keep that link there until it does, or it doesn't, or they remove it from the site. Um, Next, there's also the our affiliate link, which is right there, and you can also get a 10% off at checkout using the promo code GRC10. Um, any purchase done through that helps support the channel. We are also affiliated with awesome folks at It One Press. You can do exclamation mark HBP. Um, they are a maker of TTRPG book, reference card, and other accessories. They also have like a, I don't know if it's still in stock now, but they have also like a adorable plushie of one of their humble character, which I have somewhere in the house. I'm not sure where.
My daughter
Uh,
has one. It's
I
adorable.
know it's so great. I love it. Oh, it's right there. Uh, but they also do like cool things like humble with like campaign setting, current saddlebag for 5e things, the deck of many things, Alcinota, and so many more things. I do believe they have also been working on. There we go. That thing. Look at that. Look at that face.
He's
Look
so
at that.
cute.
Yeah. No, it is absolutely. I love him. I'm not somebody that usually buy plushies, but I cannot say no to that. Um, and I do believe they've also been working on their own system there. So I do believe you can still add some play test material on it. So go check them out and using our link. And last but not least, we are also affiliated with the awesome folks and nerd folks at 1985 Games, maker of the finest dungeon craft, the ND2D Terrain book series for the budget GM on the go. They have also cool things like the Deco Story, which bring you like cool story prompt, NPC, and so much more. Dungeon Notes, which is a great campaign both for both DM and players alike. They have kind of spell minis, and they have VHS dice, and also like little mystery dice bag. And they have a lot of things. They also have uh, digital version of all their map, I do believe, or almost all their map, um, for people that are playing in a virtual environment. So yeah, we invite you to go check them out using our uh, this affiliate link by doing exclamation mark 1985 and also get 10% off at checkout by using the code GRC10. Um, so yeah, I think that concludes the quick usual announcement that I swear one day I will pre-record and just play that recording. But today is not the day, and probably not tomorrow either. Um, but you know, one day between now and let's say 2025, I'm setting realistic expectation here. All right. So, welcome back, Anna.
Sorry.
It's all good. Let's dive into tonight's episode of The Years of the Rose. So, where we last left off, our little group here recently stumbled into a big situation, to say the least. After two of our party member here, Alp and found an envoy with a message, or an envelope at least, that is addressed to the court of Aldis, along with their other friends and a few roamer folks, were able to save that person. Moment, moments later, one of the many envoy of the court came to speak with you, retrieve their lost roses, and told you that to wait around, as you will be in the near future summoned. And so today is the day. The charismatic fat woman, Elora, who's finally introduced herself, came to pick you up in the carriage. And together, you venture forth into the palace, taking one of the many access door. Did no, I would not say call it a quick tour, but very much seen a bit of the interior of the palace about. Only to be waiting for quite some time in this very uh, beautiful circular room where food and drink were available to you if, because you didn't know exactly for how long you would be waiting here. In this place, you met with a strange night person who's been, for some of you, reading the fortune. And as the last card popped out and was ended to you, Nicolette, um, you were being finally summoned for your appointment. And that is where we are picking up. As this strange, unique being walk first,
It just popped out again.
the world.
I'm literally
Like-
just sitting here shuffling and it just fell out of my deck. Because I forgot to do my reading for the beginning of the show.
I love it.
I don't know if these cards are blessed or cursed.
Why not both? Um, so, you are brought, all of you, into one a room, which is, I'd say, maybe twice as large as the one that you're in. Well decorated, although not anything extravagant. You do see on the other side, on the other side of the table, uh, the person you met earlier, Elora, and by her side, two other stranger that you have not seen before, and of course, there's the fun fellow that you met a moment ago. So they're there, standing, and Elora like gesture towards some of the seats that are available to you, to be essentially sitting in front, on the opposite side of the table from them.
Are there people in the room yet?
Currently, there's the four of you, Alora, two other person, and that one. Uh, let's call him interesting light person that talked with you.
But there's nobody besides the six of us yet.
That is correct.
Okay. Nicolette is very on edge and is very much looking for anybody she might know. And there's probably plenty of people at court that she knows, former clients, Pierre's friends, Pierre's enemies, people that like her, people that very much don't like her. Like there's a lot of people at the court and there's a lot of intrigue that she's involved
Yeah.
in just naturally.
Um,
So she is very much keeping an eye out for people she knows, but she's trying really hard to just be very quiet.
yeah. Hmm. For people that may be loosely familiar with the court, either may have seen them or may have heard of them, or anyone that want to try it, go for it. If you can roll me what I would say here, an intelligence. Mm, let's say historical lore. Why not?
Historical?
Yeah.
I don't know that she has history lore, but she had pretty high intelligence. Let me look at my thing.
Nine.
9.
Mhm.
Who? 9, 18.
Jeez. All right. Um,
No stunt points, but an 18.
I mean, who needs 10 point with 18? For fuck's sake. Um,
I don't know what the target number was.
it's pretty. You know, it wasn't like a lower number. Like 18, like will even give you like some formidable challenge. Like, uh, so you what you see in front of you are next to Alora, two human men. One a bit younger. We could probably estimate around this late 20s, early 30s, with short black hair, wearing a nice white overcoat with blue underneath. He's presenting him well. Uh, you've known him well. You've never dealt with him, but may have heard his name while uh, you were in the area for other reasons. Uh, his name is Kale. Kail. Um, he's when you first seen him, he did not seem to be anybody of importance, but seemed to have over the years distinguished himself enough to be here. The next person next to him, you do loosely recall him. Uh, it's like a bit older gentleman, probably later 30s, early 40s, uh, darker complexion, uh, longish hair tied down with a bit of a beard. Uh, currently wearing like a very simple blue military coat, like think like 17th century, like European military coat, that type of thing, with eye collar and all that, and like you can see on the side, blue rose. Uh, you would remember him as being one of the many, well, I say many, handful of distinguished rogues knight. Uh, and for those who are well versed with rogues knights, those are very essentially the handful of people that distinguished are being much in charge of protecting the queen and so on. Um, yeah, that is you've seen him probably before. His name is Garen. At least that's what you recall. His name, hearing this name.
Garrett?
Garen.
Garen.
Garen. So Garrett, but En instead of TH.
Do I remember him as one of the ones that supported me or wanted me dead?
Um,
Or am I not
you
sure?
you remember Fairly as probably like one of the very neutral party.
Okay.
Is political involvement was not really there yet. Um,
Yeah, he would have been much younger. Okay.
he would have been much younger, and again seems to have distinguished himself enough to rise to the ranks. Um, Laura speaks to you. Please have a seat.
I sit directly across from her.
Any specific sitting arrangement on your side? Oh, in which order you want to sit? There is like 4 available chairs for you.
After Nicolette sits, then I will sit on the left side of her.
Okay.
Aurelia will take the seat closest to the door.
Wonderful.
La Pared would probably sit on the opposite side of the door where Aurelia sat at, if there's room there.
Yeah, there will be room there. Everybody on their side sits down as well. Sorry to have kept you waiting. There were other matters at hand that needed our attention.
No worries.
Please let me introduce you to companions here. There's Kale and Garen here. I do believe you may have already met.
Yes, it's been quite some time, but it is nice to see you both.
And I do believe you may have already met our little, let's call him distinguished gentleman here. And he's the night person, just setting his coat and putting his card aside. Yeah,
I say yes, and I say thank you, and I slide the card across the table because he handed it to me as we were walking out of the door, and she's just been kind of like looking at it the whole trip down because she knows what it means, and slides it back across the table to him.
Yeah, we had a pleasure to meet a little bit and talked and have a bit of a lovely reading. It was quite interesting and lovely. What a great way to know more about them. Um, so, and Elora nodded, and she takes out the envelope that you will have seen on the young man's jacket. Um, from what I know, none of you know the content of this letter, correct?
It's the first time I'm seeing it. Nicolette never saw it.
But I'm sure that some of you have seen this envelope before. And
Once or twice. I travel a lot.
when you say you travel a lot and once or twice, like she looks at you, reading you a little bit. Well, this one, and you can see the seal on it is broken. They read through the content of it, and she willingly opened it to show you what is written inside. It is written with a common script, although it looks like a lot of nonsense.
It's code.
It is 100% code, right? And I'm sure you've probably, for those of you that may have seen it, may have been slightly at least intrigued by the content of it.
I know I was, but I knew it was important that I just knew that it was important.
Well, speak plainly here. Uh, things in the north are not as tranquil as we would like them to be. And our scout here was coming back with a message requesting some possible envoy to be sent over. Now, you've proven yourself to be at least capable of good deeds. And I'm sure that some of you do miss the road and traveling. And at that mention, she put a particular attention to both Nicolette and Tamasa. For possibly different reasons.
You offering
So-
us a job?
In a matter of speak,
I'm going to elbow Tamasa really hard. Let the woman speak, please. Because she's still raging.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah. In a matter of speak, it would be, in a way, employment, service to the crown, and I'm sure opportunities for yourselves and the betterment of our kingdom. After all, I do believe that everybody here have their best intention at heart. And saying that, she does look to our lovely friend who has been who was once playing with his card and now is fiddling with all sort of little trinket on this like bracelet and so on. Oh yeah, I mean I'm not saying they don't none of them they all be lovely people. The card, yeah, their fate seems to be interesting. I don't sense any intent from any of them, but then again, who knows? But they seem to be quite good folks. We always in need of potential envoys. Now, you have the time to think it over. But if you would like to, we would invite you at least to join the cause in the court, in a matter of speak, as possible new envoys. After all, you had plenty of time and opportunity to have our Rose's fate be changed completely. Read the letter, or at least try to. And yet you've proven yourself to be kind and honest enough to aid one in need and not go through the secrets. That should count for something, should it not?
Nicolette's going to take a very deep breath because she said north. May I call you Alora?
That is my name, after all.
Am I being sent to Kern as penance?
Why would you be sent to Kern as penance?
And she just kind of cocks her head and looks more at Garen than at Kyle or Kale.
Kale,
Well, if you know anything about me, you would know why. And I am not sure if I am allowed to break my silence or not. Promises were made and promises are kept. But if that's where we're going, I need to be able to tell my companions what happened 18 years ago.
And Garen looks at Alora. I do believe that you or companion would have any right to know if there's anything, if they wish to inquire. Uh, but as if it is for penance, no, I don't. I would not see that as penance. You, from what I was able to learn and observe, you there's no penance here. This very much on your own free will.
Okay. I would like some time to speak with my companions over the next day or so before a firm decision is made. If you know my history, you know I'm almost in as much danger there as I am in this room right now.
And Lori look at you with a bit of intrigue. My dear, I can ensure there's no danger here for you, at least in this room.
I hope not.
But yeah, it is a big decision to take. It involves the four of you, and being an invoice is not simply a title,
No, it's a great
it is
honor.
honor and privilege. So before you are willing to take any vow, I invite you to think over and think of what it may not only represent overall, but may represent for yourself. For some, it may be a new opportunity, new beginnings, a chance to prove himself, perhaps, a chance to go where you may not have a chance to go before and find what you may be looking for a long time. Now, as
You
an
say I'm not
envoy
in any danger?
within this room, I can assure you.
As a show of good faith, can my chaperones be sent home for 48 hours?
Absolutely.
Thank you. Well, I would like to go home and discuss it if that is fine with the three of y'all.
Certainly.
More than fun, of course.
I do have a question. You mentioned Kern. Is that where this would be sending us?
Um, and general proximity. More precisely, this would, I do believe, and she looks over the letter, and it's not me looking back at my notes whatsoever.
No, not at all.
She's just decoding it. Just like.
Holding up a decoder ring, trying.
Yeah.
This would be more towards the Stony Run. A bit north, not quite there, but
We'd be staying in Aldous?
Absolutely, yes. You would not be crossing the border by any means.
She immediately starts to relax a little bit.
We have no reason to make you cross the border whatsoever.
Okay.
But since we're being honest, we might be dealing with problems from across the border. I just wanted to clarify.
That's possible, but as long as I don't have to cross the border.
Okay. And he just like
Problems
I
from
will
across
very
explain later.
and
okay. And he just very
Kale's-
gently like, touches your arm and then goes back
yeah,
to being
Kale
quiet.
speaks up. Problems from across the border are always a possibility. We've been quite vigilant over the past few years, but that doesn't mean that even our best cannot miss anything, especially in these times. And we do try as much as possible to make sure that our people remain safe while being warm and welcoming. I would not. I expect like as much as possible a safe journey as it is safe on the roads. But any of you that may have ventured beyond, that may be have been roaming our lands, would know that the roads are only as safe as the friends you make along the way. Right? And if there may be challenge it and as possible in voice, not only will be your duty to go wherever you're needed to go, but if there are challenges along the road, you may sometime have to be the voice of the crowd. Now, with that, don't tackle anything that may be beyond yourself. In case of uncertainty, you may always find a way to send a message. We know it will be challenging, regardless of what the road has for you. What is life without challenges?
Nicolette starts chuckling. Tell me about it.
Take your time. Think about it. Any question we may answer for you.
I think we'll have more once we talk it over. My only question is
Yeah.
confirmation that I'm allowed to break my silence, at least to my companions.
If those are trusted friends, as possible fellow in voice, so be it.
Thank you. She's spinning the ring that she wears every day. She's spinning it real hard because she's got a lot on her brain now. Because, oh boy.
May we be dismissed? The sooner that we discuss, the sooner you will have your answer.
Certainly. Let us accompany you to one of us accompany you to so that you may find your
Where?
way out here.
Of course.
And at that, Garen stands and he's feeling tall, probably a bit shorter than the parallel because you're a tall boy, buddy. Uh, uh, Please follow me.
Sure.
She elbows him
What?
again for a second because she would like him to remember where we are.
Yeah.
And then she stands up to follow Garen. She's very straight,
Yeah.
very prim, very proper, very much taking up all of the space in the room now because she is now turned on Nicolette's in charge mode.
Yeah, yeah, and Garen is quite the handsome and charming fella, so it might be surprising by any means that somebody looking for tall, and dark, and handsome man would be interested by him. But uh, leads you outside of the room, and as the door closes, you can those that are maybe slightly observant may hear at least whisper of people talking as you leave.
What am I rolling to hear what they said?
It would be perception hearing.
Probably not. It's a 10.
Yeah, probably not. It's a bit mumbly and it does a bit of shuffle, but yeah, you are currently being led back through the same path that you came through, meeting a few familiar faces along the way, and through the same. You can still once again hear your footstep echo through the hall, art outside on little. I
So
want
it's
to say.
still raining.
Uh, it is still raining, but you can see it on in the sky, like some like ray of sunshine, like just piercing through a little bit. It's trying to like disperse the rain, but yeah. So anytime you may need uh, one of us, feel free to just send a message, send somebody. You know where to find some of us.
I do. Thank you.
Thank you for your service and for what you've done so far. I'm sure that we will have the pleasure to meet each other again soon.
She kind of just curtsies at him. And do we have a carriage to take us back? Yes.
Yeah, there's a carriage. Uh,
I wink at him behind her, just like curtsying. I'm like,
Aurelia, as you're like probably going to, I'm assuming towards the carriage. Uh, Although you don't see like the face of the carriage driver, you do see them like toying around with a flower.
Um, yeah, knowing that we're probably not going to chat about any of this until we get back to the chateau, I think Aurelia will climb up next to the driver. I think she's a little tired of riding inside the carriage. Oh.
And the person seems to be a bit surprised. You have not really seen who that is, because your previous encounter, they had a
Mm-hmm.
hood over their head, and you only seen like a bit of a smile.
Mm-hmm.
And you jump up there, and a very gentle and feminine voice, which I'm not gonna be able to make because obvious reasons.
Because
I believe
Because
in you.
my voice does not reach those octaves. Uh,
You don't know unless you try.
I don't. Yeah, that is true. But um, uh, is everything all right?
Yeah, I'm just a bit tired of riding in the carriage. It's a bit stuffy. If you don't mind, I'd like to join you up here.
No, it's all right. and you can see the very feminine visage of this younger woman, probably like mid-20s. Um, you can see like little curl, dark brown hair, and those very deep dark eyes. Uh, I mean, if you want, I mean, you would probably be more comfortable inside, but you're more than welcome. And you can see that as she's talking to you, she's trying to tuck away what she was fiddling with.
The rain doesn't bother me. Spent a lot of time at sea, so it's a nice day all told.
All right, well, just gonna wait for everybody to be settled in, and she can see that she looks in inside like back like it's a little window that she can quickly see. All right, everybody settled in there.
Yeah, Nicolette gets in and sits in the center with her back up against the front of the carriage. Like
Mhm.
she's sitting over on that side by herself where Elora was sitting.
I am going to sit across from her, my mandolin in my lap, just relaxed and gently playing it.
About like where you left your weapon on the outside, because I don't think you've brought everything inside.
Yeah.
Your tools are still there, right? Like nobody took them away.
Lepada did the same thing as before, went to the back, checked in his halberd,
Yep.
and goes to sit inside the cart.
Perfect. All right, well, off we go. And yours kicks in, and you can see like the little initial tug as everything starts to move. Um, is there anything going on inside the carriage as you're being pulled away?
Real quick, Anna is not on the overlay on stream.
Oh, you're not?
So that might have been just a full on
Well, the audio would have been heard regardless.
hopefully audio.
Like a one-sided conversation.
Yeah.
There's a conversation missing somebody.
We've had that happen before.
Sorry,
Sometimes.
Video Ninja just does not like me tonight for some reason.
It happens, right? It could be worse.
Long-term campaign, we're all going to take turns with Video Ninja deciding that it doesn't like us.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's gonna happen.
I'm sorry, I didn't realize that I had the book open in another window.
Yeah. I also have it open like on a different window, but I had like other things in front of it. So
I had
So-
chat up, and then I had like the Blue Rose book over the top, so
Oh,
I
yeah.
could see chat while also scrolling through for information for a thing.
I have like 4 PDF open, maps, and a bunch of shit open. So the joy of GMing, you have so many things open. But yeah, anything happening within the carriage?
Nicolette's
No, I
being
think Tamasa is being poignantly silent.
Yeah, Nicolette is being very, very quiet, but she is looking out the window. She's looking to see if her guard continues to follow or if they stay back. She's trying to catch glimpses of it. It's probably really, really hard to see from the carriage, but the promise was made, and she's starting to
Yeah.
look to see if they're still there.
You
She
can
probably
see
can't
that
tell yet, but
you can see that some people like follow up for a little bit, then eventually once they see like these are okay, they return to whatever other duties they may have.
yeah, she's just kind of keeping an eye out, and she's just watching out the window. She's being very, very quiet. And I think at this point she's gonna ping Pierre and like try to talk to him. Do I need to roll for it?
Yeah, absolutely.
We have established that I need a 9 or higher, correct?
Correct.
So we're gonna try this one and this one and this one. Boy, you better pick up the phone. Oh, he picks up the phone. I rolled without adding all of my bonuses to it. I rolled a 11 without
Okay.
my bonuses. Are you there?
Yes, occupied, but yes.
Do you know Alora Anasaran?
By name? Yes. And reputation? Why?
Is she trustworthy?
As far as I'm aware.
Peter, they want to make me an envoy.
Okay.
I don't know if I trust it yet, but they told me I could start telling people what happened.
That is a long conversation to have. I'm, with all due love and respect, and in the middle of a situation here.
Are you okay? Are the kids okay?
Oh, things are okay.
Okay.
Just complicated. But should be available within the hour.
I'll talk to you soon. And I cut it.
All right.
And I go wide-eyed for just a second, and I just keep looking out the window.
Uh,
Point of order: when Nicolette has these conversations, it's all mental, communicate back and forth.
Yep.
Yeah, she's very practiced on having a straight face while doing it.
Okay, that was my next question. But I think
not look like she's moving.
Lapide I think Lapide could kind of, being with Nicolette for the past few months, could kind of clock the look on her face and putting together, what we just came out of, what we were going into, is just making note, probably to, like, at one point, probably towards the evening, to kind of check in one-on-one, just to make sure that
All right.
she's okay. But for now, understanding that she needs her space, there's a lot that just took place, and there's a lot that has to be decompressed.
Awesome. On the outside of the carriage, Aurelia, you are with this lovely carriage driver, who's as much as possible paying attention to the road. Um, and you mentioned earlier that you mentioned that you're a sailor of sort.
Yes, just some merchant vessels and things of the like. Nothing too exciting.
Merchant. So what's the name of the vessel you've been traveling on?
I feel like Aurelia would have a quicker answer to this than I would. I'm awful at naming things.
Yeah.
Um,
But you can also like roll me a communication deception, because you're definitely not a merchant.
okay, yeah, I can do that.
I mean, I guess it's a merchant of sort.
A merchant of sorts.
Complete lie.
Sorry.
We still trade
Oh.
in goods as
Yeah.
pirates, folks.
The of sort is, the more truthful aspect of it.
I forgot her communication's not great. Hmm. Okay, that's not bad. That is an 11. No. 9 plus 2 is 12 total.
Okay. So what's of merchant what's the name of your are you? And she looks at your very fancy attire. Like, are you a captain?
Yes, I've recently just been working a small riverboat. It's currently in dry dock. Not much to speak of, honestly.
Well, I must say you look quite fancy for captain of a small river boat.
I have friends who are very kind to me.
It's good to have friends like that. Then again, I wouldn't know much about captain or river boats. Sometimes go by the docks, but never been on the sea. So
The river is interesting. It's not quite as exciting as being out on the open sea, but it has
Oh
its
no,
moments.
Panda Paws went out.
It's the night of tech issue.
Looks like the crown didn't keep their promise.
That's right. Blame the crown. Um, well, I'm sure it's plenty of excitement, at least, or at least a bit more than driving a little bit around the city and folks. But to each their own, I suppose. And you can tell that she's you know probably looking more at you than she is at the road at times. Uh, but
Um,
those are well trained horse, so they
Yeah, they
know where.
basically know where they're
Yeah,
going.
yeah. Like they have a general idea. Like they're just being guided here and there. Like to all right, turn on that street. But if something's happening, they know when to stop. They know when to proceed, and so on. Uh, yeah, it is. And you can and she looks up as the weather seems to be clearing a little bit. Well, it looks like the weather's clearing out today, so that's 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 good. It's gonna be a lovely day. So I hope. Although rain did some good.
Wash some of the dust clean. It's the first time I've been in a city. I'm not used to there being so much dirt and dust in the air.
It can be quite dusty at times. You your accent. Where are you from? Sorry if I'm i- i- being intrusive here. It's not often that I have companion sitting by me, so uh, I'm just trying to make conversation. I hope I don't make this uh, awkward and terrible. I'm sorry.
No, from Elsport.
Okay, I think I know where that is.
It's across the peninsula from Garnet. If you've been there, that's a much better known city. Elsport is the gateway to the archipelago, you could call it.
Maybe one day I might be able to travel there. To be
It's
honest, I've never been outside of Aldis, so
huh? Elsport is quite different. Those who travel from Aldous usually end up in Garnet. It has many of the same accommodations that you might be used to.
all right. Well, I mean, sometimes I do hear like stories about people from other places, especially when we have to make a stop and pick up people that come in by ship. Sometimes some fancy merchant captain and so on. Some military captain that are just have to go to the castle, and so I wait and pick up stories here and there. But so I tend to live vicariously through other people's travel. At least I listen to them. I don't usually make a lot of conversation.
Stories are the lifeblood of sharing our experiences. Even at sea, that's most of what we do is telling stories in one way or another, whether it's spoken or through our songs. An important part of our experience.
Any fun stories or song from where you're from? I mean, we and it just looks at the road. I mean, if you don't mind, I mean, we have time. We're probably gonna be there in at least another 15 minutes
Yeah.
because it is a ride from the palace
Mhm.
to like. If we look at the map of all this, it is a bit of a ride. But
I should tell you about the gull infestation. And she kind of dives into this long story about a very bad day. aboard one of the ships she was on.
It is probably a bit strange and fun story. And you can see that she's quite fascinated by everything you say and very much live vicariously through your story and trying to pay attention to every possible detail and will probably repeat poorly that story to other people working in Palace, like about what she listened to or heard today.
Yeah,
So-
Aurelia is telling it with flair. Like this,
Yeah.
it was like it was just a bad day of someone left out an open barrel of rations, and there were way too many seagulls, hundreds. But Aurelia tells it like this swashbuckling adventure. It's amazing.
We all know that one person that would absolutely like leave the food open like at the worst possible place, and this would happen. Like we all know somebody in our life that would do that.
That seagull took my pastry.
But eventually, after long story and tale of swashbuckling seagulls, and probably a very long and quiet ride within the carriage, you do arrive in front of the chateau. Um, the sky is still gray, but a bit of sunshine peering through the clouds. The rain has not necessarily stopped, but it's only like there's a bit of a mist still remaining in the air. Um, it's much more pleasant, but still very muddy as the road. As you arrive, there are people that seem to have been awaiting your arrival already there with to let you in and take any uh, more humid article of clothing away for you to dry because you don't necessarily want to one drag a lot of mud around and a lot of water around. So there are a few people here available to help you. And let me just quickly check something. Okay, I just wanted to check something for our panda who um, is currently without power at uh, a bit inconvenient time. She's working on backup and setup, so we're gonna get there soon. I'm assuming I'm taking a liberty here, Panda. If you can watch and listen, and if that's not correct, well, so be it. Uh, but you can see Nicolette essentially taking off um, two or more private quarter and just to uh, process the thing that happened throughout the day. Faraday, who has been patiently waiting, and looks at you, La Parade. Uh, well, I suppose that everything went as okay as things could be.
For now, yes. There's a bit of discussion that needs to take place. For the time being, I think it's probably wise if we let Madame Nicolette just have her space and her time. She does need us. We can tend to her as she needs us.
Certainly. All right. Well,
I met a rival for your affections. His name was Garrett. Very handsome. You're gonna have to turn up your suit, my friend. Otherwise, we're not gonna get anywhere. And I just pat him on the shoulder, and then I whisper in a really low register, "Thank you for taking care of everyone while we were away." And he's on.
yeah. And when you mention a rival, like he does that flinch, like, sure, all right. Like, if you say so. And internally, it's like, finally somebody else to get his attention. Uh, Thank you, B,
Something
for the update.
wrong.
Um, well, in the meantime, if you are hungry or need something to drink, there are food and wine available. Or if it, please let us know. I know you were about to say something. Sorry, I interrupted you.
No worries. Hopping down from the front of the carriage, Aurelia will glance back up at the driver. Aurelia, by the way.
Oh, Eliza,
It's a pleasure.
it's nice to meet you.
And Aurelia will kind of turn on her heel and let her very fancy captain's coat that she has now kind of swirl around her. She walks to join up with everyone else.
What you may not see is that she's very much watching you walk inside. Yeah, you had
Am
an
I having
impression of
more
this
luck?
young woman.
Am I having more luck than Tamasa?
So much more luck. So much more luck. But it's fine. It's totally
The
fine.
trick is
Tamasa's
not to try
mentality.
that hard.
Tamasa's mentality is you miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
Yeah,
Exactly.
takes every shot.
That's why he regrets that not being interested in women, because it's like a whole bunch of shots he can't take.
Right. It's at least like 50% of the shots
I
available
was like,
there.
oh, like I'm just not. It's terrible. They're such beautiful people.
But yeah, you're welcome inside. It is a much warm and welcoming interior compared to the exterior. Uh, Although not as luxurious as the palace, probably feels a bit warmer just in its space per se. The people here are more than happy to see your return. Um, Although it's not the hustle and bustle that you're used to. It's very quite unsettlingly quiet, especially for people like that have been here for quite a decent amount of time and are used to how almost restless this place is in normal times. So it is a bit strange. You can see the very few amount of staff that are still around doing other tasks that are not necessarily what they usually do. Welcome back, Panda.
I am so sorry. Our entire area went
Hey, it's all right.
How dare
You
you?
cannot control
place, but my
those things.
these are for like my 9 o'clock in the morning game. It's very hard to get it all set up in the dark.
Yeah.
Just too powerful.
So, I don't know how much you were able to catch.
I missed like 5 minutes. You were talking to
Oh, yeah.
Aurelia while she was.
Yeah, you essentially went to your room
That
because-
tracks.
just to get you out of the scene and not make anything happen here.
Totally what
So-
she would have done. It's fine.
But yeah, you are back home. So now that you are back, I'm assuming for the most part that you would probably be either doing a few things or going to what is essentially your private quarter for all of you, or the general location you tend to assemble.
Yeah, I would have walking in the door. I would have grabbed Faraday, said, "Reopen it. Everything's okay." Gone upstairs and gone immediately to my bedroom. He said, "Call back in an hour." I'm waiting the hour before I do anything else. She is
Alright.
probably in her room, which we haven't really discussed the layout of her room, but she has a gigantic swing in her room. And she's probably like, those big Papazon chairs? Like the
Yeah.
wicker one. She has like one of the double ones turned into a huge swing because that round part of her room is all windows and it's got a glass dome over it. So it literally looks like a cage. but it's all glassed in so that she can see everything out and around her. She probably just flops over that and she's just rocking back and forth and she's waiting until an hour has passed.
Perfect. So, as time pass, anything you wish to do quickly in the meantime? Any of you?
No, I think Lapale would just be propped up in front of the door to her quarters, her office area rather.
Yeah. How about you, Aurelia?
Finding some food. I think
Okay.
that was stressful.
Yeah, there's not like a ridiculous amount of food because they're not there for like the past 24 hours. They're essentially like, all right, well, let's not do a lot of things, so let's not make a lot of new things.
Oh
But
no,
there's
she's
the
Yeah,
current
there's
staff as
basics.
yeah, the current staff has been feeding himself, and you can see that they were essentially in the process of finishing eating their entire uh, essentially leftover roast meat and vegetable
no, she's
available.
looking for just bread and cheese. That's all she's looking for.
Yeah. And somebody easily guide you to a nice selection of bread and cheese from and anything else you would like. Uh, would you
Oh,
like? And
no, that
so one of them like looks for like I've like drank bottle of wine that they were like essentially drinking amongst. So, if you want some, it will pair very well with the cheese.
I mean, if it's available, sure. I just need a snack. That's all.
Now, it would be a shame to eat that cheese without proper pairing. So, unless no, that is an issue.
Not my
No,
sommeliers just being
by all
like, here
means.
you go.
Here you go, lady. Get drunk.
But by all means, if that is your recommendation for this, then
Yeah,
I will follow
and
it.
like they if you like the remaining of it, so it's essentially like a bit less than half the bottle of wine left, and you can tell that's probably not the first bottle they had open because there's still a decent amount of people that more or less are here. And, I mean, who doesn't drink at least a half bottle of wine by themselves or bottle? Um, I would never do that. Um, and they send you on your way with essentially a nice selection of various cheese and some bread and well, a bottle of wine. In the process, they kind of forgot to like give you a cup, but it seems that you probably have one in your room. Um,
She's not above drinking out of the bottle.
there you go.
Yeah, much
Uh,
fancier snack than she had intended.
yeah, and yeah, and you're sent there, and that is where we're gonna take a little break, so you can think about how you wish to process uh, things during the intermission and all that, and yeah, think about all those things. Yes, there's a few things to process and think about. So we're gonna be back in a few minutes. Um, so get up, stretch, drink some water, uh, take a bio break and all, and we will see you in a bit. And we are back.
You
Uh,
literally just need to bring us in while we're running our mouths and let chat hear how awful of humans we are,
Or how hungry you are. One
or
or
how
the other.
hungry we are.
yeah.
Today's hungry, but next week after next, it might be awful. Who knows?
I mean, if anybody has been around and watching some of the show here for a while, it would not surprise them for, like after shit is being said while we're on the BRB screen. So, but now that we are back, processing big thoughts and big feelings, um, and I'm assuming within the hour, half hour, or so on, some of you will, if not all of you, will get back together and proceed however you wish to handle it. That is entirely up to you. The scene is yours.
Nicolette's going to be in her room for about a half an hour. So it's been the hour now. But the first thing she's going to do is she's going to pop up and she's going to run through the living room and like run out onto the balcony that looks over the street
Mhm.
and look for them. Are they there?
Give me a perception seeing.
I'm scared of all of my dice. Well, that's not bad. 4 and 4 is 8, and 5 is 13, and there's a 5 on the drama die. Plus, you said perception, so that's 13, 14, 15. Plus, I have 5 stunt points that whatever you think I need to use, I
Alright.
will look up.
There's no really need to use them unless you really want to. But yeah, no, you don't see anybody here. You do see some people that are just in process of like trying to go to one place to the other.
But I don't see the guards that are normally posted within 100 yards of where I
Nope.
am.
You don't see them.
She runs back to her room and jumps back in the swing and pings Pierre. He's expecting it. Do you want me to roll just in case?
Nah, it'll be all right. So I said, go because you have
Everything
to make the
okay?
initial contact.
Yeah, no, I'd be like, everything okay?
Oh yes, everything is quite fine. Sorry, it's just a bit preoccupied when you communicated with me.
Sorry. I don't mean to interrupt, and I know I don't usually ping you this often. This week has just been very weird.
I can only imagine, especially based on what you've told me so far. I'm assuming everything seems to be okay over there.
Yeah, they want me and everyone else here. Tamasa brought a friend home. Um, they want us to be the new envoys and headed north, which is a little scary because, well, you know. Um, but yeah, I think they want us to take over for whoever got hurt, or sending us in place of the envoys that would have been paid. I don't know. It's weird, and I've got permission to tell everybody what happened.
When you
Which,
say everybody,
well, everybody that's going to be traveling with me. It's not like
okay.
I'm going to be running through the streets, but I'm allowed to tell Aparel. Tamasa's finally allowed to know.
Well, that's can be quite a weight lifted off your shoulder.
A little bit. I just wanted to make sure that I could trust her because you know there are still people that would have my head if they had the chance.
Well, from what I've heard, she seems to be quite a good person, although quite secretive, I must say.
Oh, that's
Uh,
typical.
and I may have just tossed in the past hour, just tossed around the name in passing to some people I was traveling with, just to say if they have heard anything of that for that name. Um, Nothing terrible. Uh, some seem to have been a bit more reserved about it, but that may just be their own worries that somebody of that esteem may be inquiring about them too. So
Pierre, they let me in the palace.
It must have been strange.
Very.
Are you sure everything is okay? Do you do you need anything?
I don't think so, but I don't think I'm going home. So when you get to like, will you check in on mom and dad and grandmama? I mean, her birthday is literally tomorrow. I'm not making it home.
No, that would have been quite a feat to be able to make it from all this to there.
Yeah, I know we've been here. I was hoping to go see her, but now I'm really not going to get to see her anytime soon because we are going to be going in the opposite direction.
Well, don't worry. I'm gonna send your regards.
Okay. How long till you get to Garnett?
Good question. At our previous traveling pace, I would have said within a day or two, but some of my companions, uh, I'm not gonna say name any name, Armin, but I've been taking pleasure to delay things a little bit.
How many more days till you get there? I want to know about the kittens.
Probably within a week.
Okay.
I said I would keep you posted, but I'm not quite as talented, so
Well, I mean, you could always have Anastasia thing if there's an emergency, but I'll reach out as soon as I know more what's going on. We have to have some big conversations here, and things are going to probably be weird for a while. And I'm really sorry if I've made you nervous or I've made you scared or any of that, but I didn't know what else to do because you're the only one who knows.
well, I'm sure that whatever waits, it's you gotta figure it out.
Yeah.
And from what I've seen when I left, you were in quite good company. So just make sure they don't get you into trouble.
Well, Tamasa's already tried, but I think after he learns the truth, maybe he'll realize it's time to grow up a little bit.
One can only hope.
I like La Padella a lot, though.
I knew you would.
Oh, there's some days that you know me too well. Well, I won't keep you any longer. I will let you know what's happening. And if I'm able to tell you where I'm going, I will let you know as soon as I do. Because I think I really am going to take them up on it.
Perfect. Well, dinner's about to be served, and it would be quite difficult to think about
Well,
and at the same
t-
time. So,
send
um,
the children my love and Anastasia too.
I will. Take care.
Me too. And as she cuts it off, she'll say, I love you, and not let him reply.
All right. So, that is being dealt with. The rest of y'all, what have you been up to? I know some of you have been enjoying a selection of wine and cheese and bread. The other two, what have you been up to?
I think Lapadev went ahead and after that first half hour of seeing Nicolette run out of the room, go to the balcony, go back, is probably going to go downstairs real quick and ask the kitchen staff if they could go ahead and prepare some comfort food for everyone, um, some light drinks, and just have it be brought up in about, you know, 20 minutes or so for them to take their time. And then just go back up and just stand guard. Um, on my way up, I'll probably stop by Tamasa and Aurelia's room and just let them know that we'll have some fresh food and refreshments in a few moments. Just, you know, do what they can. And I'll probably see Aurelia just knocking back some snacks and some wine. Just be like, you could bring those too if you wish.
Oh, they might be gone by then, but if there are any left, I will.
Sounds good.
All right. And I do believe you told earlier, like Faraday, to get things back in order. So you can only assume that he will do so in a timely manner, as he tends to do things very efficiently. But yeah, things are eventually being brought up.
For Tamasa, Tamasa's probably gonna change, uh, take a quick bath, and then as Faradir is kind of going around making everything run again,
Yeah.
Tamasa is going to essentially volunteer to like be like the warm up musician, like as people are coming in until the musicians that Nicolette usually hires can make it. I'll go ahead and be on that little quiet round. Like, let me look at the map. I'm assuming there's like a little side stage area and the main area where musicians can kind of play quietly while people, or
Not really.
obviously, not
Not
really.
no, we're not really that kind of establishment. It's very much like if we have musicians, they're on the stage, but we have like a place for people to sit. Like at pretty much any
Yeah.
meal, there's music playing, even if it's just like a string quartet or if it's, a full on
Yeah,
band or there's a big performance. It's just that one stage in the
yeah,
ballroom because the ballroom also serves kind of like as a, um, it serves also as kind of like a restaurant kind of thing.
hmm
It's a place where people go to eat and have entertainment. It's very expensive, but it's, a place that people can go hang out. There's like brunches on weekends and really nice dinners and big concerts are on the weekends. The establishment, for being what it is, um, it very much centers more on the entertainment side of it than it does on the consort side of it. We have 5 consorts plus me, 2 of whom work together. And it's not always that kind of healing. Sometimes it's just companionship, sometimes it's just somebody to talk to, sometimes it's our matchmaking services. The real draw of the chateau is being seen around people with money.
yeah. I will spend time in the ballroom because it has really good acoustics.
Mhm.
Just free playing, and uh, I probably pull out a couple of sheets of paper and I'm taking music notation and trying to compose something new um, until that hour's over, and then I'll go back up and I'll eat with everyone else.
All right. So, give or take an hour has passed by. At least that you, although you don't have own a watch or there's no visible clock, you get a sensation that about an hour has passed based on just your best estimate of passage of time. Uh, and eventually, do reunite. I do believe in Nicholas' room, or slash office slash personal space, or
Yeah, probably the living room up in the residence.
yeah. But yeah, there you are. It is a bit later in the afternoon. The cloud have parted, letting you see a bit of the colorful sky behind. Um, it's getting nice out there.
How's the temperature? Is it warming up at all or is it still pretty cold? I mean, I realize it's only like
It,
18 days
it's
into spring, so
yeah, it's it's
21
not
days into spring.
today. Today has not been a very warm day overall, especially with the rain. There's that humidity in the air that just that that wet chill, like
Mhm.
from like um that like things never seem to dry, so yeah, also a bit cold. Um, it very much feels like that. Within the chateau, it's probably much warmer because, well, fireplace and like also things to make the place feel a bit more comfortable.
Right.
But
I was just wondering if the air
on the
got fresh
outside, it
enough to
is
like pop all the windows open, basically.
with something cozy on yourself, probably. But otherwise, one would not recommend.
All right. I think Nicolette's just gonna kind of go hang out in the living room. She probably has like one great big chair that's like just her spot. And she's probably curled up in it. She's got Bijou in her lap, who's probably been a mess because she's been in and out of the house, which she doesn't do. And she deliberately did not take Bijou to the palace just in case. Um, So she's got her familiar in her lap, and she's just kind of giving him like that light little top of the head pet, very slow. She's calming herself down in preparation for confessing her sins, basically. And she's
All
just
right.
kind of waiting for food to be brought up and waiting
Yeah.
for everybody to get
Yeah.
upstairs.
These are brought up. It's whatever was available um, that could make you, feel nice. Some pies and things that are a bit more on the simple side. They're not necessarily designed to be very presentary.
Okay. So everybody's up here now, basically, yeah?
I would assume so, unless somebody is somewhere else for some other reason.
Give me like 10 seconds to get Notion to reopen because when my power went off, everything shut down and logged me out. Because, of course.
And
I just want to make sure I have names and stuff right.
yeah, and as things are, you're getting together to be able to process and probably discuss what transpired today and whatever it may mean for each of you. You can slowly hear already uh, from should lower like some people already getting back and uh, processing and getting ready to work. Many are very happy to be back to work. They were quite surprised, honestly, by the interruption, as you would have expected. But at least here in those bright quarters, it's a bit more quiet. Uh,
So she's going to sit down, and once everybody's sitting down and grab like a little plate of food or something, she's not eating because she doesn't know she's going to keep food down at this point because she's a mess. Um, and she's going to start and she's going to go, who knows who Claudette Marchand is? She's gonna add, and then whatever
yeah.
you feel they need to roll history check wise, because
Yeah, I mean, if
Claudette
they're
would have been very well known about 20 years prior.
yeah, if you're not sure, you may roll just a quickly historical lore. That is
With what's that?
and that would be intelligence historical lore, and that would be somebody specific, I do believe, from your notes, right, Panda?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. That's why I was opening it, so
I
to
would
make sure I had the names right.
yeah, I would say like to have like most possible detail, like at fairly challenging to that 13. And like at 11, you may have like loosely heard the name.
Yeah.
14 with no duplicates.
Yeah, you definitely heard of that name in passing.
No.
Claudette.
I think that sounds a bit familiar.
Oh.
Anna, what you were saying? Sorry, you were a bit quiet.
I'm not gonna roll.
Oh, okay.
At one point, especially when I was very young, Claudette was the most famous spirit dancer in the world. And before I go any further, and she's spinning her ring like really hard. And you have the choice if you want to learn what's going on or not. But this doesn't go out of this room or your life is basically forfeit. No one is supposed to know any of this. But I've been permissioned to tell all of you.
Okay, this seems very serious. Is this
It
really
is.
something I don't know about?
Yes, this is really something you don't know about. I was sworn to secrecy. You know I was in trouble. That's all you were allowed to know. And she takes a very deep breath. When I was 13, Claudette came to Two Lake with one of the traveling nobles. It was supposed to be part of the grand tours that were happening at the time. She saw me dancing with some friends and we were having a time, and she went to my parents and thought that I was just right to be trained as one. And of course, someone that famous tells your parents she's going to be a dancer just like me, the first thing you do is send her. And I was taken from them to be trained, except I wasn't brought here like most spirit dancers are. Um, she took me to Garnett. And while I was there, I was trained. And she takes just a very deep, ragged breath because she has not said it out loud since she swore on the ring she was wearing to Pierre never to tell another soul. I was trained to be an agent of the Lich King. And when I was 17 and the sovereign died suddenly, and Her Majesty was selected because we were so close in age and Claudette was so famous, they brought me to court with the hope of infiltrating the palace. And I knew they were wrong. I knew it wasn't okay. There were suspicions because no one had met me before and I was not enrolled in the school here as I should have been if I was being trained. And they immediately separated us, and I confessed everything to the guard whose custody I was put in. There was a trial. I was found innocent, but because of everything, I couldn't be trusted. They tried to enroll me into the school. I was an outcast there. They tried to put me into the college because I have such skills as an adept. I was an outcast there. I was very young, and obviously Queen Jalen she was 18. I was 17. We were basically children, and she was in a precarious place. I was being trained as an agent that would end her life and bring the Lich King to power here. The whole idea was to get people close to her. I did the right thing, and politically, it still didn't make me a safe entity. Then the war happened. So immediately eyes were on me again. Because I'm a known entity that had connections there. It's never been fair, and I don't think Her Majesty thinks it's fair either. However, she has many advisors, and optically, it's very bad for me to be seen in the palace. Because at one point, I was being trained as someone who was going to help murder her. And that's why Pierre and I could never get married. His father knew. Everyone knew. He knew. He'd never have a future with me tied to him. It would never have happened.
Gets up in a way that might actually upset Lapaden. Are you telling me that the fight that we all had when we were young, where my husband left because he was so angry that you weren't going to marry Pierre, wasn't because Pierre found another successful match? It was because somehow a society of people who know how to read minds and read people's hearts and read their intents still didn't trust you? What kind of kingdom where you can read people's hearts doesn't trust their own justice system? What happened to you was wrong.
Yes, what happened to me was wrong. And we never lied about the reasoning. We never lied about the reasoning.
I don't think that you lied to me. You would
Neither
never.
did Pierre. We told you politically we could not marry. He would never be able to do the job that he has now. The children would have
thought
been
it
brought
was
up in
classist.
squalor.
Bullshit is what I thought it was. But I understood. But he didn't.
And that's not my fault. And it's not Pierre's either.
Crowns.
It's not the crowns either. You can read someone's heart all day. People can lie. There are very powerful mages in this world that can lie. There are people that can block it. I was a known entity. The reason I am walking as free as I am, the reason that I have this home was because I could never come to court. And because Pierre could never have married me. If he would have married me, his father would have taken everything and the children would have been brought up on the streets.
No,
We
they
made
wouldn't
the right
have.
decision.
They could have been brought up on the road with my caravan. You think I would have let you starve and be
Pierre and I
destitute?
didn't want to travel. We wanted to stay here. This is our home. Not everybody has the same homes,
Home is
Tamasa,
not the city, my love.
but it is
Home
for
is where
me
you
and it
are.
is for him. We made the decision we needed to make for the children. We made the decision we needed to make for us. I have never been safe in this city, and I am way less safe on the road. Why do you think I asked if they were sending us to Kern? Do you think if for 1 second I set foot in that country with what I did to betray them, to
No,
save Queen Jalen, my life
no.
would be anywhere near safe?
You are 100% correct. I am just deeply, deeply disturbed and upset that you had to go through all of this alone. And he sits down and he leans in, and it's spilled into every other aspect of our lives.
It was an aspect of my life for 10 years before you ever met me. This has been my life since I was
Is
13
this
years
why you
old.
think I abandoned you? You think I would have left if I had
No,
known?
I think that you abandoned me because you promised to come home every year for the children and you've been gone for 3. There was a
I don't-
war. I told you that I needed you to come home when you could, and you've been gone for 3 years. You
I came
promised
back
every
when I
year.
could. I,
There was a war. You knew then it had something to do with what happened to me, and you left anyway. And it's fine. It's what you do. You need to be on the road. But my home is here.
your home is a gilded cage.
It is exactly a gilded cage. I know exactly what it is. But it's one I built for myself. The way I wanted it, doing what I want. Living a life that makes me happy. Because the life that would have made me happiest will never happen now.
I think that it is ridiculous that this kingdom sits on a reputation of love conquers all and has treated you this way.
It's not the kingdom. That's the problem. You see it as a kingdom. I see it as a few people in power that were trying to protect the sovereign because it's their job to do it.
Well, tell me who they are. Perhaps they don't need to be protecting the sovereign anymore if it costs the livelihood of innocent people. We should take this job and replace them
I don't want to
with
replace
real
them.
people that the queen can trust,
I
like
don't want to
you.
replace them. Everyone needs someone that is willing to do the hard thing to protect them. Everyone, especially the sovereign, needs people that will say no. Because if all you have is people around you that say yes to your every whim, that's how kingdoms fall. You need people to make the hard choices, and it's the right choice. I would have made the same thing in their position. I would have had my head in a lot of ways.
Counterpoint. Did the stag pick them? The people who make hard decisions are not the kind of people that the stag picks.
Queen Jalen would have fired anyone that she did not agree with. She stepped in when someone would have had my head to give me what I have now. It's not just the crown. Politics is more than just one person, and I've tried to explain that to you for years, and I realize that you are so bullheaded about it sometimes that you can't see the whole picture. It's
It's
not
not
one
all
person.
bullheaded. You're the bullheaded one. You can't understand that this is not the way to treat people and that there are other ways to live.
There are
I
lots of
think
other
at this
ways.
point, Lapada stands up and gets in between the two and says, obviously, this conversation isn't going to go anywhere.
Thank you. So that's it. I was tried for treason. I was found not guilty, but under watch. We're going to be getting close to Kern, and that's who I was associated with. So there is danger in traveling. There's always an innate danger to travel, but this is a little different. I have every plan of taking them up on this offer, but I thought that all of you were owed an explanation. I've had to hold on to secrets for a very long time. It's for the safety of everybody in the city.
If we are to go to Kern, what can we expect?
Oh, we aren't. They said that we're not actually going there. We're just headed for the border. But there is a chance that there's still agents of the Lich King that operate, and
They're
there's always
everywhere.
the possibility that I'm recognized because I am a traitor to them.
So we need a good disguise,
I don't even think that we need that, honestly.
stay off of the major roads,
I think as long as we don't cross the border, we're fine.
and just try and be quiet.
I truly believe if we don't cross the border, we're fine. There's always danger, and I'm not concerned about disguises, and I am tired of disguises.
Understandable.
Why do you think I ran to the balcony like I did? She was honest. They're gone. I could walk outside right now and not be followed. I could walk outside right now and leave the city, and they'd never know.
But you would never do something like that.
No, of course I wouldn't, but I could.
Well,
I know you're angry, and I know you have your opinions and feelings about things, but that's not my opinions and feelings. I think they made the right decision, and they kept my head on my shoulders. And I was allowed a few beautiful years with Pierre. And while love may never be in the cards for me like that again, that's fine. I've built a home here that helps people.
The
I've built a
past can't be
place that
changed.
helps people.
no, no, it can't. But at least, as angry as I am thoroughly relieved. I don't have to talk you into taking it up the offer because it's a great offer.
Well, it's only a great offer if, we do the right thing with it. You hurt me today, Tamasa.
Takes a very deep breath, exhales. You're right. It's incredibly reckless. I should have taken what you said about the situation seriously.
She's really struggling not to start crying. Pierre says I can trust her.
And
So
I
I'm
will.
taking it. But I won't speak for everybody else. And I'm going to make one request of them. I just don't know if they're going to listen. I'm still puzzling out exactly what I'm going to ask for, but good faith, right?
Yeah. Absolutely.
She kind of like snugs down in her chair a little bit more and pulls Bijou in close and like grabs a blanket off the back of it and like starts to curl up a little bit. So now you know. It was
Bijou
tried
was
for
following
treason.
kindness to try to just comfort you a little bit.
Mhm. I snuggle him closer. Don't worry, you're coming with us. I'm glad I bought new traveling clothes. La Padelle, would you like to go on an adventure with me?
I thought I already was on one.
Well, this is about to get a lot different. It's going to be a lot different than watching out for people who are going to, lower my price point because I'm still very expensive. And she'll just kind of giggle and take a sip of some tea or something that's sitting in front of her.
I have nowhere else to be.
My grandmother is going to be furious. I told her I would try to come home. Well, I'll ping her and wish her a happy birthday tomorrow. 100 years old. Can you believe she's turning 100 tomorrow, Tamasa?
You should, once we resolve this matter of the North, you can always go and visit her again.
Oh, I'll visit her at some point in the near future,
She'll be more
but
than proud.
just not
It's
today.
not every day that one of their grandchildren, who I'm sure she's deeply worried about from the moment you were born, is going to be an envoy.
It's funny, I'm not the one she's ever worried about.
Oh, your brothers?
Francois is going to get himself in trouble one day. You could learn a lesson from him. He keeps one in every port, not multiple in a single city.
Sounds boring.
Not with how much he travels. And she'll
Okay.
look at La Padelle. My brother Francois is a terrible, terrible flirt. He has more lovers than I do, and I am expensive.
He kind of motions to Tamasa and mouths him.
Nah. Much more success, less shameful flirting.
So an artiste?
Very much so.
Hmm.
He appreciates my job much more than Jacques does. Jacques is just an asshole. But I think I have something for him too.
Just tell me who he is, and you might be met with a fist to the face.
You'll have to beat me to it. But like I said, I have questions for the crown tomorrow.
I don't mind going second.
I am going to declare now that I am simply going to flirt with Kale and let you handle all of the actual important speaking.
Oh, you have fun with him. He's young as hell.
I know.
You are hopeless, and you need to be more careful about running around naked without consent around here.
Well, that's true. I'll go back to wearing my fishing trousers.
Fine.
Get those
The
like
last thing we need
comfortable
is the last thing we need is
high
somebody
style fishing
thinking
trousers.
something's going on here that it isn't. So, especially if I'm going to be leaving, I would like to leave my good reputation intact.
Absolutely.
And
Should I prepare anything for you?
grabbing like little bits of food.
You will feel better if you eat. I know you think you can't keep it down, but that is just your anxiousness.
No, I just needed to get all of it out first because it's a hard thing to admit. Because while I wasn't in the wrong, I was part of something much bigger that was wrong.
It's not who you are.
But I think maybe I'm finding forgiveness in everything that I've done since. This is a
Would you
huge
like-
opportunity.
It really is. We can go. We can do really, really good things. Yes, I flew off the handle, but you mean a lot to me. And I'm going to stay. I'm going to take this, and I'm going to help La Padel keep you safe. I'm going to make it up to you. I never wanted to hurt you. I never wanted to abandon you. You're my best friend. I just didn't know.
I couldn't say anything. Like I said, we're sworn to secrecy. You're allowed to know because I got permission for you to know, but if we tell anybody, it's all of our heads.
There's only one person that I would ever even consider telling, and we both know that we're never going to see them again.
We might, but you can't tell him.
I will keep it to myself.
We told him that it was much bigger than him and much bigger than us.
He
I know. He should
knew
have
something was
listened.
wrong. He knew something was wrong. And the truth of the matter is, my friendship has always. He always believed that more in like love for love's sake. I'm not really sure how to put this into words, and I write songs all the time. He just. I think he just cared. If your love wasn't stronger than politics, then what did ours mean? And that's his fault. Not yours, not mine, not anyone else's, regardless of what I was screaming earlier.
It's his fault. Just keep that in mind that it's his fault. It's not Pierre's, it's not mine, it's not the crown. It's his. I know you want to put blame elsewhere. You can't. You can be as angry at the crown as you want. It's never the crown's fault.
No, you're right. There's like a faraway look in his eyes. And he's just like, we're going to be on the road. We're going to be that far north.
We may run into him, we may not. We blessedly won't run into my brothers because I don't know if I could handle either of them right now. We're also not going to get to see Pierre and the kids. I'm excited. They're going to get to Garnett in a couple of days, maybe within a week. I bought them both.
No.
I start petting Bijou. I bought them both kittens.
And then
Anastasia's going to be pissed.
Tamasa's going to take that, like, sort of change of subject and let whatever he was going to say turn to gossamer. Maybe that's for another night when we're on the road.
Probably. Aurelia, dear.
Yeah.
You interested in becoming an envoy for the queen?
The talk of honor and glory for the not exactly a song I like to dance to.
I don't think it's more for honor and glory. I think it's more for doing good for the people.
This was the long-term goal. I told you. I bring you to the city. You become a privateer. You don't have to worry about your past. This is even better. Envoys are like privateers that can go anywhere. Land, sea, sky.
Hmm.
And no one wants to mess with envoys. If anyone messes with you on the sea, it'll cause an interkingdom incident. Especially if you're there on the Queen's business.
I won't force you to
It'll
come with us, but I
be a
thought
great
that
adventure.
you should know the truth that you be traveling with someone who was tried as a traitor.
I mean, that doesn't bother me very much. If the crown knew exactly who I was, I don't think I would have walked out of that room today.
I think the crown knows exactly who you are because there were people in that room today that can read minds better than anyone I know.
They saw your heart. And I know that I went on a full emotional roller coaster earlier, but that's just who I am. And Ariella, you are one of the most stand-up people I have ever met. It doesn't matter that you did a little bit of smuggling or whatnot. You can go out there and be a hero. You're going to look great in that coat. I'm not going to force you to do anything, but I will bug you until you tell me no or yes.
I also think as envoys, well, I don't know how comfortable I am with the idea of you murdering my brother, but we can certainly make his life very miserable for a very long
Uncomfortable.
time.
Deeply uncomfortable. A lifetime of misery is definitely worth more than the 5 minutes of pain you'll experience before death.
I think Aurelia kind of shifts uncomfortably in her seat at that.
Pulls out a piece of paper and writes that down.
What?
Did you not tell me that he tried to use the hope as bait?
He did.
It's not his boat.
Whose boat is it?
His soon to be father in law's. He doesn't own the boat outright, he's just the captain. He used private property without consent. I know his father in law, he's been a client, at least with one of the girls. Before he settled down.
I think that could definitely be a course of action.
I
What your
have
brother
thoughts.
cost me. I don't know if that is where I'll stop, but
Just a
do
thought.
my best.
As envoys, I think revenge is a possibility for a lot of people. Certainly puts me in a better position. I looked outside, they're not following me anymore. She was true to her word. I have
I-
lived in this cage long enough. I think getting to travel a little bit without people following me. No risk of it. At least not in that sense.
It's a good opportunity for you. Going north brings me even further from the sea than what I am now, but
That's fair, which is why I offer the options, because I would not blame you if you ran right back to the ocean, because as someone who grew up in the ocean, it's very difficult being away from water for this long. It's part of why this house is this house and why there are so many windows here. I at
I
least have the lake.
I have to admit, walking out of that room, I was not interested in the offer, but you have certainly
fair.
opened my you have certainly opened my eyes to what could be possible as an outcome from this.
I think there's a lot of outcomes for this, but it gives you legitimacy. They'll never question you or your work again. It gives you the ability to not have to worry. But some people would rather have their freedom and not answer to anyone, and that's completely fair. I would love my freedom and not have to answer to anyone, but I would sure like this form of answering to somebody much more than being under lock and key.
That freedom is never out of reach if I change my mind down the road.
Exactly.
Problem
Right.
is, it loses my legitimacy with other connections that I have,
Mm.
but the amount that I could leverage this for
We don't have to make a decision today.
Yeah, we can sleep on it.
I know that I am saying yes.
And I'm with you. Pops a grape in his mouth.
I'll think on it.
That's fair. We don't have to answer them right away. We can have a day or two to think on it. We're reopening the chateau. I'm sure there are already people funneling in from downstairs, and I'm sure that it's going to be a very interesting few days because we never closed. So now that's the mysterious of, oh, they closed. Whatever, we'll throw a concert this weekend and make up all the money we lost in spades. Sebastian will be thrilled. We can charge higher ticket prices because we are closed because now everyone wants to know.
Fantastic.
Contrary to popular belief, I am a shrewd businesswoman.
Mm. Paid for my second wedding. It was fantastic.
Yeah, I would have liked to have paid for my first. And she looks down at her ring. But we can't change the past. I told him, by the way, what was going on. Apparently, they haven't even gotten to Garnet yet. There's something going on. Somebody, he mentioned one of the nobles. I didn't catch the name. I think he said it was Armand. I don't remember. Somebody's holding up the caravan as per usual.
There's always somebody.
But I think this will be good. This will be good, and it will infuriate Jacques. He will be so mad. Like I said, he'd have had my head like many people would have. Outside of, the occasional birthday letter and or holiday letter, and we don't speak. It's funny, his birthday was a few weeks ago. Pity, because it would have been fun to include this news, but Lapadel, what do you think? You've been awfully quiet.
I think things are going to be much more interesting, and maybe another set of armor and different weapons might be needed.
Well, the blacksmith does have my name. You're welcome to run down there whenever you would like, and you will not have to worry about people following you.
He nods his head. Though I think, Aurelia, you are wise to consider it. This deal isn't for everyone. For some of us, it's easy because we're forced into this. Others, not so much, but just know that if you choose to part ways, it's been a pleasure having you by our side.
I could not have asked for a warmer welcome in this city.
You will be missed because you know how to keep him in check.
But I'll
Yeah,
think
that
on
was
it.
some game of cards the other night.
It was indeed such bad luck all around.
All around.
Nicolette will look at Lapadel and just chuckle.
He cracks a smile.
All right. So I feel like this has been a very long conversation to which you haven't seen time fly. It's probably much later than you expected. And you know that you have ahead of you for some very big decision to make, things to consider, and also a lot of business to deal with in very near future. that will require some attention. So I'm not sure if you are individually retiring to your rooms or if living arrangement has shifted for the night, uh, or if you wish to spend more of your time awake or just here in this room in company of friends.
Is it too late in the evening for Aurelia to catch the sunset?
You would be almost be about to miss it if you, you look outside. You can tell it's probably going to be down like maybe in the next hour to half hour at most.
Okay. I think as everyone kind of starts milling about, Aurelia will leave the chateau to go on a walk, and we can come back to her in a bit.
I think Nicolette is probably going to grab like a couple little snacks. She's not super hungry. She's still very. It's a lot for her right now. She hasn't had to confess to anyone what happened in 10 years when she told Pierre. So I think she's just going to scoop Bijou up and she's going to go back into her cage and she's going to sit in her little swing, well, big swing, and just sit there with Bijou and a snack and probably like her journal and maybe a book. And she's just going to, she may leave the door cracked open in case somebody needs her or La Pradelle needs to get in to get to where he's sleeping in her office, but she's just lounging. She's slipped her shoes off. She took off her cape and her shoulder pads, and she's just kind of lounging there, reading a book. She might scribble in her journal for a few minutes, and she's just going to sit there and rock. And she's probably going to fall asleep in her swing, like with Bijou and a book, and she's probably got like a glass of wine or something that's on the ground under her, and she's just going to sit there and swing till she falls asleep, and then sometime in the middle of the night she'll probably wake up and then go crawl in her bed. After going and making sure her door is closed and the bolt is thrown.
All right.
I think that my character is, because people are going off to do their own thing, is gonna try and like talk to Lapa, then take him aside. Um, if that's cool with you, Lonzo. I know today got very out of hand. You said you were gonna get some new armor. I want to. I don't know. I feel like I should do something to. I have very strong hands, and I know that sounds like a come on, but I'd like to offer you a massage. I will keep my clothes on. I will not touch anything you do not want touched. But you spend a lot of time in that armor. Today was very, very stressful. And this is the olive branch that I have. You've been keeping my friend safe for years. And you even kept it safe from me. Thank you.
He approaches, takes a step towards you, and says, I may not know the complete history between you and Madame Nicolette, but it seems that it runs very deep. I know she blames you for leaving, apparently, and not coming back. You have your reasons, and that's for you to know and for you to tell whoever you wish. But it does seem like something has to be worked out between the two of you on that. However, you do have to understand this chateau, this business, this building is all she was ever allowed to have. Anything outside of the doorway into the city is instant fear, panic, and dread. I know you're looking out for her, but I think at that point she just needed us to be there for her. It's hard to put yourself in her shoes. When you have the pleasure and the privilege of being able to get up and go wherever you want, when you want, without consequence. Most of us, any of us, minus her, have that privilege.
Not without consequence. The road is very dangerous.
Of course. But some of us know how to keep ourselves protected on those roads and have the wits to do that. But when fear, panic, doubt, and knowing that eyes are on you the minute you leave your home, well, it's more difficult to do that.
Yeah.
Right now, she needs her friend. Right now, she needs an ear. She doesn't need to be told what to do or whose fault it is or what. She just needs to be told that this isn't her fault. That no matter what, we are still here for her. That's what we could do for her. He puts his hand on his shoulder and he just walks back to out front of her room, just stands guard like he normally does. And he looks at Tamasa and says, she does care about you. A great deal. I know you care a great deal for her. But if we're going to be going out on the road, you and I both know that life. We know the dangers out there. Keep a lookout, because I am trusting you as well.
Well, I grab a bottle of wine and a cup, and I put the bottle next to him and the cup next to him, and I keep walking to my bedroom. And he stops like he's going to say something, and then he just nods and leaves the door open a crack and then heads to bed.
I think before he, as he nods, Lapared at least grabs the cup, pours a little bit of wine in it, and just raises it up and just takes a little sip and puts it back down. That's his way of saying thank you for listening and for your assistance in the future.
Perfect. Aurelia, you took your leave a bit earlier. Left the chateau. As you took an exit, you did cross path with Laura, which you've met earlier, and she did acknowledge and just smile at you as you passing. Where are you going?
I think we find Aurelia a little while later, sitting on a dock, kind of by herself, kind of legs hanging over, looking out at the sun just as it's setting. Just kind of sitting there, jacket off, vest probably off, sleeves of her shirt pulled up, her tattoo very visible. And she's sitting there watching the sunset that book of poetry, weathered, kind of old looking, sitting in her lap. Um, and kind of looking back and forth between the sunset and that book, s- talking out to the empty air,
And
essentially.
it is a beautiful sunset, especially now that on the horizon you can see where the clouds have been parting, essentially revealing the last light of day. You can see the purple and oranges as the sun is going down for the evening. Just right on the cusp of the horizon. It is still a bit chilly with the cold and humid air. But it's nothing that you're not necessarily used to or haven't seen before.
Mhm.
You've traveled a little bit on the sea, and you do know that it tends to be a bit colder, especially like with the strong ocean wind. So that cold breeze that hits you, the smell that hits you, they're not unfamiliar. They're what would for be for most a bit uncomfortable, or maybe in a way comforting to you. It is a space that you're familiar with that allows you to, for a moment to go back into a more comfortable place, back in your thoughts, right here. From dog, you all the hustle and bustle is being deafened. The only thing that you hear is the wind, the wave crashing, and a distant seagull. And you're here alone with your thoughts and your book of poetry.
Yeah, she sits there, gripping the book, just kind of speaking to no one, really, just out loud. I don't know what to do. I feel like I'd be turning my back on our life, and I fear that you would hate me if I joined the crown, but it's an opportunity for power, an opportunity to make that asshole pay for what he did, to remove him from what he loves. He did to me. I really hope you can forgive me for what I need to do.
And
And
as
she
you,
just,
oh, please go ahead.
yeah,
My apologies.
she just sits there, staring out at the sunset.
And there's no one around you, like you're at least no one nearby, and it's like you're waiting some sort of answer. There's no voice that creeps in your ear. Nothing. But for a brief moment, you feel a bit of warmth, as if almost if something would be wrapping around your shoulder, just a bit warmer, just a bit nicer, less alone.
I think Aurelia starts crying, but feels much more resolute in the decision that she's making. And she'll sit there until the sun sets completely, and then head back to the chateau.
And as night take the city, that you all go in your quarter and possibly eventually find sleep and rest or unrest. That is entirely dependent on you and how you wish to process your thoughts and feeling of the day. There's a lot to think about. You're not sure what the future holds, despite the strange readings that happened earlier that day. They were quite cryptic. They may tell truth. They might tell your future or past. Who knows? You may also reflect on that. But that is only for you to find out in the future. Only time will tell. And that is where we will leave for tonight. With big thoughts, big feelings, and big things, decisions to make. Thank you, everybody, for joining us tonight. It's been lovely to be back. Uh, Normally, we do 3 weeks on, 1 week off. We had 1 week off that wasn't expected. We just essentially gonna more or less keep the rhythm that we already had established, which means that we will be off the coming Monday uh, to be back the one after. Uh, so, before we wrap up things and everything, let's do a quick roundtable and tell people who you are and where they can find you and follow you because people actually should. In whichever order, or I can just roll a d4 and just pick somebody from there. That's magical d4 of doom. Lonzo.
Not the D4 of
Yeah, not the
doom.
D4 of Doom.
That's how I will make decision about you. It's gonna be the d4 of doom.
Oh wow, I'd rather have it be the Legion of Doom, the D4 of Doom. I am Lonzo Gonzo, pronouns he, him. I am a Latina variety streamer, content creator, TTRPG performer, podcaster. You can find me on Blue Sky and Twitter at Lonzo Gonzo. You can find me on Twitch at Lonzo Gonzo _. You can find me doing a Pathfinder 2E Star Wars Post Order 66 podcast called Unwavering Force. Our episode last week got delayed because audio issues. It happens. So we're just trying to make sure that we bring the best quality possible. Other than that, I'm probably gonna be streaming tomorrow and doing another charity game. We did one last night. Raised $50 for It Gets Better project, so we'll be keeping that going for a few more weeks. So yeah, please stop by and check it out. That's it for me.
And will you pass it to, or do you want me to roll the dice of doom again?
Keep the Dice of Doom going.
All right,
Dice of Doom is hot.
dice of doom is hot. No, it's not so hot because it was going back to you. Panda.
Hi, I'm Awkwardish Panda. I'm kind of awkward, roughly panda-sized, queer as hell. I'm a variety streamer here on this platform, service, whatever we want to call it. It's weird now. You can catch me Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday streaming on my channel. Monday through Wednesday, we paint minis. Fridays, we play games. Currently playing through Assassin's Creed Mirage. Starting this Friday, you will be able to catch me raising money for Gosh Children's Hospital. They are currently raising funds to open a new cancer center at their hospital in London. One of my very dear friends works with them and has reached out to have me help fundraise this month. So we're going to be starting that Friday and running it through next week, possibly a couple of days after that. I'm just finalizing a few things. You can catch me here on Monday nights. If we are not here on Monday nights, then I am recording my other show, Fiends of Fairwick, which is launching on November 1st. Goddess help me. On November 1st on YouTube, the first episode will be public. You can come through on our Patreon if you want to see it early, all of that kind of fun stuff. I just need everybody to know that these tarot cards are fucked up. They are charged for this show, and there is a reading that is currently in our Discord that if you would like to see it, you have to join my Patreon to see, because that's who gets to see the cards. So yeah, we got some real interesting readings tonight, y'all, including the card that I got last week as my last pull of the night ended up being the first card that got pulled tonight, which is the one that Frank pulled for me without knowing anything. These cards
Or
are
maybe I have magical power. We don't know.
these cards are very talkative and get the vibe of the show. But yeah, that's what's going on. But yeah, I have a Patreon that's got all of my personal stuff. If you want more info on Nicolette, it's kind of a thing that I'm doing for my patrons because I have a lot of them that hang out here for me, my community. So like her notebook and all that kind of fun stuff. So come through for that. What else do we have going on? Oh yeah, competition painting.
Yeah, that's a thing.
We're painting the battle for the food court a la 90s mall, and Orange Julius and Dairy Queen are coming back to take the food court because my friends and my partner are buck wild and come up with some very weird stuff. I am also painting. God, where is it? I have like the cutest mini in the world. It was sitting right here. Where did I put it? I am painting what is basically Morticia and Gomez, except they are a drow and a goblin for a big competition. So I'm probably going to be working on this tomorrow just to take a break from the diorama because they're really cute. But that's what we're doing, competition painting and playing AC Mirage because AC Mirage is a lot of fun and raising money and then doing all the TTRPG things. That's me. I talk too much. Anna, go.
Okay.
So you say that, I rolled the dice of doom and it went on Anna, so
Oh, well, look at that. It's
Oh, I
just
forgot we were
fate.
doing Dice of Doom. I was just like
dice
popcorn.
of doom.
Whoops.
I am Anna, aka Archival Dust Bunny most places on the internet. I'm a queer and trans advocate, museum worker, and TTRPG performer, producer, and podcaster. Find me on Twitter at Archival Dust Bun and all other social media, including Instagram and Blue Sky at Archival Dust Bunny. As far as where to find me, I'm moving soon, so my schedule is a little lighter than usual, but still fairly packed. But Wednesday night, you can find me on Lost Caravan at 7 p.m. Central with a game of Cottages and Servers, which just finished their Kickstarter very successfully. It's a cute little game, cozy game of monster hunting. Saturday, our ongoing game of Fabula Ultima um, called Fatal Ascension is happening over on Lost Caravan. A lot has happened. If you enjoy political intrigue or JRPGs, Fabula Ultima is a great system for that. All of our videos are available on YouTube. I think our first episode for the series is near or past 3,000 views, which is amazing. So if you want to check out what people are enjoying about it, check it out there and catch us live on Saturday. Um, of course, Response Team Omnicron, if you enjoy Lancer, is a wonderful podcast following a PR team who unexpectedly ends up on the front lines of a brewing conflict. We've been described as if Battlestar Galactica had its own red versus blue. So if any of that sounds like your type of thing, find us anywhere you normally get your podcast. And of course, Bloom and Blight, our Girl by Moonlight podcast. We just had one of I think our second biggest download day ever this weekend, which is so wonderful to see. It follows a bunch of queer magical girls recovering from a victory at a devastating loss as evil starts to wake up again. And they are having to deal with their grief and how it affects them and those around them and come back together as a team. We just released episode 7 this last week. This week, we're releasing episode 2 of the Garden Club, which is our talkback series. I will be chatting with the wonderful Candace the Magnificent, who plays Belladonna in the show. It's a really wonderful episode that'll be out on Thursday. And then, of course, the next week, going into episode 8 as our next big mission starts. It's a lot of fun. You can find us anywhere you normally get your podcast and on all social media, including Twitter, Blue Sky, and Instagram at Bloom and Blight.
Awesome. And Hector.
Hello, my name is Hector Reyes. My pronouns are he, they. I am a Latine indie TTRPG writer, designer, and actual play performer. I am also moving, but I have packed my schedule. So you can obviously find me here on Mondays. On Wednesdays until December, I will be over at the new Misadventurers League. Wonderful channel playing Kids on Bikes, Hollow Vale, lots of amazing spookiness. And that is typically, for those of you in the United States, it's about 11:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. But it is a European-based platform. So for anybody out there who is based out of Europe, it's about 7:30 at night or 8ish, I think London time. So it's evening for them. Great crew. We're having a great time and getting involved in spookiness. Coming up this Thursday, I will be on the Exquisite Quartz. We had to delay our Candela Obscura one shot because of people have to drop out. Life happens. So that will be on Thursday evening. Check that out. And then later this month, I will be playing in a game of Triptych, a one shot, which is all about watching a piece of art and getting a spooky, dark revelation about them, loosely inspired by Foxfire, The Dreamers, and all sorts of Stephen King's It. Pretty much, bad art kids covering a dark secret, which will be related to the painting that we will be talking about during the game. And do I have anything else? Keep an eye on Nerds with Dice in the coming weeks. I can't say exactly what I'm doing with them, but there will be something coming up. And that is my schedule.
Awesome. Well, make sure to follow all these wonderful people and all the awesome project that they're working on, because they are working on a lot of cool things, and it's always super exciting to see that, and it's always a joy and privilege to have them here. On my side, I'm Frank, sometimes better known as Rafiki. I'm mostly GM. That's probably what I do on the internet. Beside that, I'm also a professional composer and sound editor and all that jazz on the Raven Skull production. And that's pretty much all that I really do. You can find me here on the Mondays, or you're going to be able to find me soon on the internet with other GMing stuff. Because I love GMing things. So yeah, thank you again, everybody, for joining us. We hope to see you. I said next week. Yeah, no, we're taking off next week. Are we? Are we here? Are we here? Yeah, we're here next week.
Thanks.
It's getting late. My brain's getting
We
fuzzy.
have next week off, and we'll be back in 2 weeks. Next
There
week
you
we're
go.
filming Fairwick.
There we go. Perfect. All right, I know what I'm doing. I have a calendar that I'm not looking at right now. So thank you again for joining us, and have a good night. See you soon. Bye bye.
Bye.